Mm-hmm. All right. Oh, how far you can come in a year. 2 years, actually. All right, I chose this format. This is, I don't know. I've gotten good at talking to a lens because this has been my therapy for the last 2 years, right? So, in 2019, in March 14th, 2019, my wife, who I moved to Phoenix, Arizona with because she was a travel nurse, we were trying to find a forever home. I found mine, I guess. She didn't. My wife left me March 14th, 2019. So, the worst thing in the world, regardless of what anyone says, the worst thing in the world that could have happened to me was my wife leaving me. My wife passing away. My wife not being a part of my life. That was the worst possible thing that could have happened to me. Trust me. In a sense, obviously, life can turn situations that are the worst things that happen to you into potentially the best things that could happen to you, right? Thanks, Jesus, or whatever you believe. So, she left. What do you do, right? For the last 2+ years, I've been trying to figure that out. So, what did I turn to? Neuroscience a little bit. In psychology, right? I wanted to understand how someone could do that. She loved me, I know that's a fact. But how do you get to a point where, because I couldn't see myself doing it, right? So how do you get to a point where you love someone with all your heart and it fades? Or you can convince yourself, for whatever reason, to leave. How do you get there? So I listened to lectures, I listened to podcasts, I read a lot of books. And in that, frustration definitely amounted because I realized, as far as scholarly credentials, I didn't have them. So everything I've learned, I guess, isn't really credited because I don't have a degree in psychology or anything. And I'm not saying I know everything, but I've learned a lot in the last 2.5 years. And everything I've pieced together, this is what I think. My wife, best thing that ever happened to me. Right? We're extremely in love. The green trees on the blue sky. Can't help but think about her. Because that is just something that makes you smile, takes your breath away, gives you peace. Just like she did for me. And I can almost say with certainty, she felt the same way about me. Only God knows why. And so I know she loved me. She was an incredible person. She was a nurse, right? If you know a nurse, you would know how amazing they are. Typically, they start because they want to help people. And then they burn out because they get taken advantage of, overworked, undervalued. And then they grow to be lazy, just like everyone else sometimes. Not to cut them all, I'm just saying. I believe that's how lazy nurses become. I don't think people are lazy to start. But, anyways, sorry. Extremely hardworking, extremely organized. She was obviously very highly conscientious. And good God, I hate that trait. I want to change the big five. I feel like conscientiousness, I feel like that can rule them. I just don't, I haven't fully wrapped my mind around it. It's coming. But I hear people talk, Jordan Peterson talks about it. I listen to him a lot. I know that's probably like the most annoying thing to hear maybe. As a psychology professor, is that annoying to hear? If you could get back to me on that. Like that I listen to Jordan Peterson a lot. Because before I took this class, I listened to all of his personality courses, the Bible lectures, all of his maps of meaning, because it was just readily available, right? It's not like, and I listened to a lot of other psychologists, listened to Client-Centered Therapy by Carl Rogers. You read a lot of stuff like Carl Jung, and so I get information from many sources, but obviously Jordan Peterson has a very great tone to his voice. It's very appealing to me. I can't help it. But also, he's knowledgeable. So it's not like I'm looking at the as seen on TV version of any product. Like, he is respectable. Anyways. In his lectures, he correlates, right, conscientiousness and high sensitivity to disgust. And so, in kind of analyzing my wife in the situation, I came to, I guess, understand that she was able to, in a sense, kill me off. Because she was extremely conscientious, and that makes her highly susceptible to, I guess, disgust. And if you're disgusted by something, you have no problem saying goodbye to it. No matter how much it meant to you at any point in time prior. In something I did, some way I acted, right? Whether it was, I'm definitely not perfect. We would argue all the time. I was insecure. And I think in those insecurities and in yelling, that correlated to a previous relationship that I do know of where it was very, very bad. And I think that triggered her sense of disgust towards me. And when you have that sense of disgust, it's game over. If people are conscientious enough and that disgust is that irritable and that sensitive, you're done. I mean, you see it a lot in politics, the way they just shut down towards any other person's opinion. It almost erases the possibility of understanding another human being, which is wild. And in that, so aside from that story, I also recently, so I'm extremely industrious, but I am not. The last 3 years, I have had to live in chaos. So my organization, my orderliness is 0%, right? It's coming up. And so I tried, just like they say. I started by cleaning my windshield on my car. Okay, I never followed a schedule. My room was a mess. I would always say, if I don't make my bed in the morning, I start with failure, so it's all a success from there. And now I'm the comeback kid all day. Right? But I think making your bed is the trick. I truly believe that, like, people that said make your bed, It triggers conscientiousness. It triggers orderliness. It triggers the need for a schedule. And the need for a schedule triggers disgust. And when disgust is triggered, you're sick of who you've been. You're sick of where you came from. And when you're sick of that, you're thrust into growth. You almost form a growth mindset. I mean, I can say I've definitely had a growth mindset my entire life. And I prior to 5 years ago, I was a little more conscientious. I was much more organized. I loved the night before make a to-do list. I loved that. I'm a weirdo. And then it disappeared because I didn't know what to do. You know, my wife left. I was out in a state where my entire family's on the East Coast. So I had no one, I had nothing. I had resources at the gym and a great like community that I had built, but I had no home base to run to. It was fight or flight, right? It was burn the boats and take the island. I didn't know what I was going to do. So it was chaos. And if I had any hope of being orderly, I would have gone insane. So I just scrapped who I was. And as of late, I cleaned my windshield. When I clean my windshield, wow. You see the sky, it's blue. Did you know that? I didn't. My windshield was dirty. Then I cleaned my windshield. After I did that, the next day I made a schedule. And now the scary part is, I made the schedule. I cleaned my windshield. I actually tidied up my room. I bought a desk for my room. That's weird for me. And so when I did that, a problem arose. I felt disgusted. Towards people. This quick, I'm talking 2 weeks, I started to feel a sense of, not disgust, but a sense of, don't surround yourself with people that are not organized or don't have a schedule. They're going to drag you down. What? I'm extremely I'm very agreeable. Like, I love being around people. I'm extroverted. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, don't surround yourself with these people because they'll drag down your proficiency. What has happened? And that's why conscientiousness scares the hell out of me. You create a schedule, you create order, and it almost starts to scrap your humanity. And if you think about it, it'd be a very cool study to see how many professors in psychology are highly conscientious. Well, actually, it might be everyone because it's hard to do school if you're not ordered. Because I do work with people, one person in particular, that's extremely organized. She's the mecca, right? She's terrible with people. She will never ask how the person is. She'll ask how the business is done. And so I just take a step back and I realize I'm creating order in my life and in my work. And it's ordering my relationships and in order of importance towards efficiency, not importance based off of my heart and what my heart desires. It's terrifying. Well, I don't know if this was what the project was looking for, but this is a thought that it's always cycling through my mind, and I feel like it might be something that could break through and become something. I don't know. Also, if you have any pull, why can't a dissertation be a video? I think I want to make that a thing one day, if it's possible. Writing papers, I'm pretty sure I'm dyslexic. That's why this is just so much easier for me. Conscientiousness truly triggers disgust, in my opinion. I do believe that. Maybe it's the sole reason why people say love fades. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe conscientiousness is the almighty eraser of life. Or all the joys in it.